talk to you about what inspired me with my breast cancer experience and quickly go through the design of the product and bring you through some samples and really talk to you about the collection and show you a brief CrissCross fashion show this evening, so you're the first to see it. My story began in July of 2007, and I was on vacation with my family, and it was actually on the day that Robin Roberts was diagnosed with breast cancer and announcing it on ABC, and I was watching television with my mother that morning, and my Aunt Nina had breast cancer, and we were sitting in front of the television and crying because she had just recently passed away that year. And that day, I received my phone call. It's true, 1 in 8 women each day are diagnosed with breast cancer. And I didn't believe it, and I didn't tell anyone. I received my phone call. For years I had been being diagnosed with cysts and going every 6 months religiously for checkups. I went through 13 surgeries for stage 0 and stage 1 breast cancer. I started with bilateral lumpectomy, and as many of you may know, when you have a lumpectomy, you need to have radiation. Well, I have a lot of skin allergies, and I was 1 in a million who was allergic to radiation. So after 7 days of radiation, I could not tolerate it, and I stopped on one side because of very, very bad rash and allergic reaction. They did continue on the other side of my breast, and so I had 7 days radiation on one side and 15 on the other, and I literally could not tolerate it anymore. So I ran back to my breast surgeon and said, what do? I can't handle this anymore. I was in so much pain. And after bilateral lumpectomy, which is really unheard of, because my doctors really had said, if you have bilateral breast cancer, you really should get bilateral mastectomy. But I really wanted to choose the path of non-invasive since it was such a lower stage of breast cancer. But I had to switch immediately. So I then switched a month or 2 later to bilateral mastectomy. And at the same time, had the reconstructive surgery. And I remember then on another trip with my children, they were only 7 and 10 at the time, explaining to them that, it was around Thanksgiving, Mommy's going to be scooped out like a turkey and stuffed back up again. And that was the way I could get through it mentally, and that's how I handled it. And so that was the beginning of my journey, and over the holidays, I had that surgery. About 6 months later, I had complications, had my implants taken out, replaced again. A week later, I was sitting at the Susan G. Komen office in a board meeting. I was on their board for 3 years. Not feeling well that evening, and I felt great 5 days prior after I had the surgery, and 2 days later I'm being rushed back into the hospital, and I got MRSA. And so my implants were coming back out, and another set were going back in, and then a year later, another complication. So within 18 months, I had my implants replaced 4 times. So it's very unheard of, and then I had other complications and got breast cellulitis. So as a result of all of that, I wore a lot of bras. A lot of uncomfortable, ugly, uncomfortable bras. That's basically what I have to say. They say that you're a survivor the day you're diagnosed, but I personally count myself as being a survivor from the last surgery, because you really don't feel like you're a survivor until you complete that whole process of your last surgery. So I wasn't really feeling well on that bandwagon of feeling well again until I was really healthy. I literally knew nothing about fashion, but what I did know was a lot about marketing, media, technology. My background has been 25 years in digital media and technology. I started out in the technology industry and moved over into media and marketing. So I literally, from the internet, found that image, and I wanted to share that with you, just some mannequins. And I started sketching a design on that. And I wanted to take advantage of my name, CrissCross. Criss I kept as my name, which was my first husband's last name. And I knew somehow I could brand that name and utilize that in a name to cross. Somehow integrate a cross throughout the whole design. My first husband died in my arms 3 days after his automobile accident. And when he died, we were never able to have children, and so I made a commitment to him that I would carry his name throughout my life. And so I have, and I wanted to somehow carry the legacy of his name in this brand. I finally found my designer, and I'd like to introduce you to Judy Knight-Rennan. Judy is a neighbor. Lo and behold, after meeting in New York, we live about 30 minutes away from each other in New Jersey. So we have had many late nights, many early mornings. She's been fabulous. I don't think I've worked with anyone that has been so easy to work with throughout my whole career. She got it from the get-go, from the beginning, and she's a former Victoria's Secret designer. And why don't you just say 2 minutes about your background?
Well, I've been in the fashion industry for 30-some years, so I do have a lot of background in stretch fabrics, intimate, swim, active, and so all of this background has been put together to be able to create an intimate bra for mastectomy. Now, a woman has to go through so much during breast cancer. She should not have to be put up with the bras that are just horrible and uncomfortable and not flattering and doesn't make her feel wonderful. It's really important to me. I have had friends, family. Unfortunately, many people in my life have also had to live through this, and thankfully, all of them have lived through it and can talk about it and know what it's like. And so this was also a mission for me to create the best bra that I possibly could. And having worn it myself quite a long time,
We've been modeling on each other, so that's how.
Yeah. and I wear it for hours and hours at a time so that I know what it feels like, and I have that advantage. And so I can say it is the most comfortable bra I have ever worn, and I will say that. And not having, unfortunately not having to go through the breast cancer part of it, but to feel what it feels like and how it holds, how it compresses, how clean it is, with no threads that are chafing, none of the issues that are with the other bras. So this is simple, clean. I can go into some of the technology, but a lot of it's bonding technology, which is actually using glues instead of sewing thread, so you don't have the abrasion of thread. Very important for comfort. So.
Thank you. I'm going to turn this over to Trent to talk about the fabric, and while he's talking, I'm going to show you samples, and you're all going to be able to feel the garments.
Thanks, Jean. First of all, your story is remarkable. I didn't know the whole thing, and hearing that, we've worked with a lot of companies at Hologenix, from the biggest to the smallest, and never, ever have I met anyone as passionate as you. This is truly amazing. I actually enjoyed the phone calls in the morning from you to actually discuss the product. So I'll explain, the difference in her bra, what's really going to change the game, in my opinion. It's a fiber called Celliant. It's using the words cell and reliant, so we're relying on your cells for life. And what this product does is we found a way to embed certain minerals in the core of the yarn. They're never going to leak out, never going to wash out, they're in there for good. And what these minerals do is they absorb the heat from your body. And body heat is, you're always emitting body heat at all times. And right now it's being lost, it's not being used. So this body heat is absorbed by these minerals, and they convert it into infrared. I'm sure everyone's heard the term, infrared for facials, for sports medicine, various applications. And what this does is it's clinically proven to increase circulation and blood flow in the tissue. So imagine a bra that needs a healing purpose where you can actually provide that on a physiological level. So this is completely game-changing. This isn't just a new fabric, a new color, a new cut, a new design, a new feel. This is changing the DNA of the product for the better. These products are actually going to help speed up the healing process of people that need it the most.
I have over 20 different proprietary designs that I've created with the CrissCross collection. So it will be for every phase of breast cancer. So for women, that means from lumpectomy through mastectomy, and also for women who have had augmentation surgeries, whether it's single or bilateral. And it's also for men who have who need to wear a garment for breast cancer. So now I'd like to show you some of the garments. So a man today currently doesn't. Oops, here we go. So a man is, where's Dr. Tracy? Here, Pfeiffer, here we go. You can come up here too. We have Dr. Tracy Pfeiffer, who's a plastic surgeon here in the New York market with us. Tracy, you can speak to how this is really done today as well. This is a wrap, with gauze and, ace bandage, ace wrap, and men really don't have a garment, if you will, a proper garment for wearing in the market today. I'm just going to spin this around. And using the Celliant fabric, this is totally a prototype, it's not finished, but it's using the Celliant. It's totally in its preliminary stages, but it will, right now it's in the middle because, depending on if you have it on both sides, it'll fall in the middle, but if it's crisscrossed, you could wear it to one side. It'll be finished at the bottom. But what's fabulous about the fabric is there's no seams. There's no seams at the top, so that's what makes it comfortable. There's no elastic. There's no need for it because the compression that's built into the fabric is thick enough and it holds itself up. So I don't know if you were able to stretch what was in those picture frames, but it has enough stretch in it. I'm going to put this down. Thank you. We'll just sit around and just show you. Here are some of the samples that I have here. But the garment itself, it stretches, and this is the compression. Now this is just a single layer of it, but what Judy was talking about is that it has a film, and we're double layering it and putting a film in the middle so that it gives you that compression compared to the traditional bras that are on the market. So this is what I wore. This is exactly my bra. When you walk out of the OR room, you're stuffed with gauze, you're stuffed with a lot of different types of fabrics, gauze underneath, gauze all over. You have, incisions on your arm depending on how many lymph nodes you have taken out. Because if you've had a single mastectomy, you have 2 of these tubes coming out on your side. If you've had a bilateral, you're wearing 4 of these. And what's uncomfortable about this is that you've got 4 of these tubes, 2 on each side, hanging out from you, and there's nowhere for them to go. There's no pocket, there's no place. These are wrapped around you, they're fairly long, and having this connected, this is inside of you, this part of the drain is inside of you, and it I hope I'm not grossing anyone out, but it sucks the fluid out of you around your breast. And all of the fluid then drains into the tube. It fills up and it weighs you down. And having all of that fluid pull you down, pulling against your skin, which it's stitched into your skin, really, really gets uncomfortable. And you have to empty this numerous times throughout the day. And until these are depleted, they don't come out. So you have these in for about a month. And they come out one at a time. And do you want to talk about that process a little bit?
What she is saying is, totally 100% accurate. After you have the surgery, your body's going to produce a lot of fluid in order to heal the area, but of course you don't want the fluid sitting around the expander and or the implants. So these drains are put in, they have holes in them, and when you get the air out of the collection chamber and you seal it, it will create a negative suction and pull the fluid through the drains. So we make a separate incision in the skin and pull the drain through the skin, and then the question is, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to manage it? And usually the drain will come out and your bra strap is pressing right on it. So if you don't put some padding underneath the drain, you're going to get this big dent in your skin. And the other thing that people have to struggle with, like Jean was saying, is exactly where are you going to put this? So are you going to tuck it under your shirt, which, as you mentioned, you don't really have the right clothes to hide it under your shirt. You're wearing your husband's shirt for a month. Or you can compress it and put it inside your pants. But managing the drain, where to put it, how to hide it, how to be comfortable with the drain, because it does tug on your skin, is really a major issue for all patients.
This is one of the new CrissCross bras. So here we go. Here's one of them. You're going to see it on a model in a minute. It has straps coming through it that are going to hold it up. What's fabulous about this, the bra itself, one of the healing factors in addition to the fabric that we were talking about with Trent is I've made it with magnets. There's no Velcro. Most of these garments here, you can wake the neighbors, I used to say, with taking the Velcro off. This strictly has, with the CrissCross design, magnets here, which is also a form of healing in the process. And it has adjustable straps, and it still provides you the compression. The hooks here on the side come through very easily, and these will come off. And so it actually looks like a sports bra when you're done. After your 30-day experience with the tubes, you can actually take this off and unhook it and continue to wear it through your healing process, because you end up needing to wear a tight compression bra sometimes for 6 months. So whether it be in this form of a bra, I have other designs, as I mentioned, that will transition you post 30, 60, 90, 120 plus days that will be designed and manufactured, and that's part of what I'll be working with Yes Group and Celliant. And then I have intentions to design those clothing garments that will go over it so that you can hide the tubes and the garments. So at this point, I'd like to show you our models.